We actually messed up because we had the original certificates and then we packed them, Holly packed them into the moving boxes, and that means they're on a container somewhere right now heading over. If you're on this video, you're probably like me going to be giving the UK a break for a little while and moving your family to Cyprus, and also looking at how can you become a tax resident in Cyprus. Now, recently, I went out there with the family. Obviously, we were scoping it out for the first time. I had meetings with lawyers and accountants out there just to make sure we've dotted all the I's and crossed all the T's when it comes to becoming a tax resident, and also just being prepared. So to save you the hour-long consultation, I'm just going to do a quick video to share with you exactly what you need to prepare if you're thinking about becoming a tax resident in Cyprus from the UK, particularly if you're a family with kids and you want to make sure that everybody's taken care of and everything's sorted. Now, the reason I'm doing it right now is because I've just had some of my documents back, and I'm just going to run you through those documents. I've also got a checklist, so I'll share this checklist in the description box below. You can have it for free. This is just a checklist that I built with Claude based on all of the conversations I had with the lawyers and the accountants. Question number one is, how many applications are you going to do? So if it's you and your partner, and I'm just going to use my example. So I've got me, Holly, and the two kids, the two dogs as well, but they've got their own, they need their own video. These two guys, they're a nightmare. However, we've got 4 of us, right? So when it comes to your residency and moving over to Cyprus, you need to think about, are you going to be doing 1 application as a family or 2? The reason you might have to do 2 is if you're not married, okay? So if you and your partner are not married, then, or you don't have a civil partnership, if you don't have either of those things, you're going to have to do 2 applications. And that means a little bit more headache and also a little bit more cost. But also, for me, that just wasn't the route. We want 1 application. And the way that works is you have a lead applicant on your application for residency, and the other 3 family members in my scenario are all classed as dependents, which they most definitely are. But those 3 dependents are all on my application. So to the documents, first thing you need is birth certificates. So as all of us do, we get these birth certificates when the kids are born, our own birth certificates. You know, our mom has them or whatever. They're hard to find. Now, the good news is if you don't know where your birth certificates are, you can simply order them online from the government website. So what it will do is it will ask you the location, the date, the name, and then it will scan the database to find that birth record. And then you can simply pay, I think it was about £55, £60 per certificate. And that will get you and your family's birth certificates fresh. So that's birth certificates out the way. The next thing you're going to need to do, and by the way, stay to the end of this video because having the birth certificates on their own is not enough. There's a process that you need to follow through with to make sure that they're valid for the organizations in Cyprus to process your stuff. So birth certificates out the way. Obviously, I'm not going to show them to you guys before you ask. Next, you need your police certificates. So there's something out there called an ACRO, an ACRO, and that is a police certificate to search the database for the police systems to basically show whatever convictions you do or don't have. Now, if you've been a naughty boy or girl and you've got arrests or unspent convictions or current pending trials or cases, that is what's going to come up. Now, interestingly, look, you might have been arrested one time and then released, right? And that still creates a criminal record. But interestingly, I searched this up because I was curious. I was like, there's no way that there's a 0 tolerance policy. Like, what if someone just had, not paid their speeding fine or whatever it might be, and they ended up with a criminal conviction, right? So for me, I searched it, and even with any kind of convictions on your record or whatever, those will be taken into consideration. It's not a hard stop policy. It isn't like all of those thousands and tens of thousands of Brits out in Cyprus right now all have squeaky clean records. So if that does apply to you, I'm curious what you did. Let me know in the comments below. But yeah, you're going to need 2, police certificates for you and your partner if you are going in a family, or just for yourself if you're going alone. And yeah, you've got them. So you've got your birth certificates, You've got your police certificates. The ACRO certificates are the ones that you're looking for. Of course, they're all paid. Again, I think it was about £100, something like that. We obviously have paid for the sped up delivery on those. So all of them have an upsell where you can pay to have it sooner. For us, sooner the better, because right now, as I'm making this video, we're 9 days out from actually departing. Next, the process that I was telling you about. Okay, before that, you need your UK bank statement. So your last 3 months of UK bank statements. And then you also need your tax return. So if you're in the UK and you're a taxpayer, you need to be able to show your tax return. So it's not about how much money's come into your account. It's how much taxable income have you earned. And they want to see that from your official tax return. So you've got your bank statements, your birth certificates, your ACRO police, and then you've also got your tax return as well. I think that's all of them. So that covers your checklist. That's all the documents you need if you're coming from the UK to Cyprus. As you can see right now, as I'm recording this video, I'm still in the UK. I'm in this empty living room that we've cleared out and had shipped over. Made a full video on that. My delivery's just arrived as well. So I'm gonna have to grab that. Hold on a minute. Nando secured. As I said earlier in the video, let's talk about this process that you need to have done to all of your documents, bank statements, etc., etc. Well, no, just for the certificates actually. So your bank statements, they're fine. So it's a process called Apostille. I can't pronounce this word to save my life. It's Apostille, Apostille. You got to get your certificates sent off to an Apostille service. The way that this process works, we did one in Milton Keynes. So you send in your documents. Basically, they're verifying, they're like a government body or whatever, and they verify that all of your documents are legitimate. And then what you get on those documents on the back is a signature and all of the details of who they are and what the actual certificate is for. So it's kind of like, instead of someone just looking at the front, it's the back of the certificate, they stapled it on, and that basically shows exactly what's on that and also who's verified it. We actually messed up because we had the original certificates and then we packed them, Holly packed them into the moving boxes, and that means they're on a container somewhere right now heading over. So they're going to the right place, but we couldn't get them apostilled or apostled, whatever the freaking word is, I don't know. Maybe someone in the comments can help me with how to pronounce that. But yeah, you've got your documents now. Your UK side is done. So what happens when we land in Cyprus? So for us, I've got this checklist, like I said. So we're then going to, once we arrive on the 27th, we're going to email the solicitors, and we're also going to send passport copies and the stamped arrival page to the solicitor as well. Next, if you are going to do a submission for residency, you have to either have purchased the property or have a tenancy agreement in your name. Now be very careful because there's some stipulations here. Not only do you need the tenancy agreement in your name, you also need, so you need a 1-year tenancy in contract, but you also need the bills sorted as well in your name. So the water, gas if there's gas, electric, all of that has to be in your name. So get the water, electricity in your name, and then from there, the 183-day tax clock starts. Now look, this is a bit different now because I'm also opening a business in Cyprus. So I've got to open a personal Cyprus bank account. That cannot be a Revolut account. It has to be a bank that is situated physically in Cyprus. So Bank of Cyprus is the one that we've gone for. Here's the next bit that you might want to know, which again, until you hear about it from a solicitor, you don't even know the process. You then need to transfer at least 10,000 euros into the Cyprus account. So 10 grand has to fly into there in euros, which is about 8,500 quid. Throw that into the Cyprus account and then show the proof of funds. Basically what the explanation for that was we essentially have to prove that we've got some money in Cyprus to support the family and live, basically. Next is there's some rules around how many dependencies you have. Tallies up how much income you have to prove that you've earned in the last year as well. So basically they're making sure that you can afford to run your family based on your income out there in Cyprus. Now, I don't have the exact figures, but for us, it's not too bad, to be fair. 4 people, me, Holly, the 2 kids, all we have to prove is that we make over £36,000 a year in personal taxable income, which fortunately, thanking the Lord above, we have that. We can prove that very easily. Right, next is we then go and request the Paphos district immigration appointment. And if you want to fast track it, so we're moving to Paphos, but if you want to fast track it, you can go to Nicosia and pay an additional fee. These fees to actually get this all signed off and done out there are not an issue. It's like 600, 700 euros. You, of course, then need to take medical exams. So next, the whole family needs a medical exam. We arrange a private health insurance for the family. So yeah, you've got to get private health insurance and prove that you've got private health insurance out there as well. Then there's a document review meeting, and then we submit the application. You can't just submit the application without physically being there at these offices, either in Paphos, Immigration, or Nicosia. They want to see you. I think they want to prove that you're there and that you're actually planning on, well, that you actually are going to be a resident. So the explanation I received was essentially people are coming over there, setting everything up and then dipping off, and then still trying to claim that they're a Cyprus tax resident. Now, you might have heard that I referenced the 183 day. I can't remember why, but the 60-day Cyprus rule where you only need to be in Cyprus for 60 days, for some reason doesn't apply to me and my family. So if you've got any information on that, again, me posting this is just what I know, what's on my checklist. But if you've got any information about the UK to Cyprus immigration requirements that you think I've missed or you want to add to, drop them in the comments below, because genuinely, I want to read them and learn from them. Next, we've got, after the document review and the submitted application, I've got to get a follow-up call with the accountant, form a company, which again doesn't take long, but it still needs to be done with an accountant. The thing about the business setup, just so everyone knows, it's cheap to set up, but you are obligated to have your accountancy stuff. And there's like you're basically paying a set fee per year like I do here, but they're very adamant on the returns and submissions being a little bit different over there. I think they're a bit more frequent in terms of accounting submissions. They're not annual, they're quarterly from what I understand. Again, if you've got information on that, drop it below. And last but not least, for me, arrange the pet relocation for the dogs and also the schools, which are both ticked off. So I'll probably make a separate video on the hassle of getting these dogs over there. We're gonna fly them over there. We did consider driving them, but that's long. I'm not driving them. We do have a volunteer and he has volunteered to drive them, but I'm not keen. I'm just not keen on driving my dogs that far. I'd rather have them on the same flight, going to the same place, even with the headache that might bring, having kids, suitcases, and 2 dogs on a lead. School situation, I'm gonna make a separate video on that. We've secured my son a school in Paphos. I'll walk you through how we chose that. I'll show you some footage from the tours. But all in all, for this video, that's a wrap. If you've enjoyed it, I'm going to be posting more Cyprus content alongside my business and marketing content. I'm going to apply the Cyprus checklist on a Google Doc or a Google Sheet that you can click in the description box below. Any feedback, anything you want to add on to what I've said, or anything that you can add in terms of answers to some of my questions, please feel free. I want to learn, so drop them in the comments. If you're an expat family like us, feel free to reach out. My Instagram's also in the description. I'd love to hear from everybody about their experience, what's worked, what hasn't worked. I'm all ears. We are 9 days out from moving from the UK to Cyprus. I feel like we're prepared. I feel like we've done everything we're supposed to do, but inevitably we'll only find out when we get there if we face any headaches. Hopefully not, fingers crossed.